Hello, my beautiful lovelies, and welcome to Lioness Ink Insight, a den for honest conversations about creativity, identity, the beautifully chaotic experience of being human, and the occasional pharaoh moment, because sometimes that's the most truthful part. I'm your host, Angelia N. Bailey, author, graphic designer, mom, emotional gremlin with a purpose, and someone who has a lot of thoughts about, well, everything. Thanks for stepping into the den with me. Grab a drink, get comfortable, and welcome to the pride.
I wanna go to war for you. No matter what we're up against, I promise I'll keep fighting.
Today, we're going to discuss why this podcast even exists, who the hell I am, what to expect going forward, including a little teaser on a huge project I'm working on, and I'll close out with some final notes. So let's dive in. Now, you're probably wondering why in the world this podcast exists and the entire Lioness brand I've created on Substack and other forms of social media. Well, Lioness Ink Insight exists because I got tired of pretending I didn't have questions. I got tired of smoothing over thoughts that felt inconvenient and watching people flatten themselves to fit into spaces that never quite felt safe anyway. This is not a niche podcast. It isn't designed to stay tidy. This podcast is a space to actually talk about stuff we're all thinking, but rarely say out loud, and to do so with honesty, a dash of humor even when it comes to uncomfortable topics, and humility above all else. I think deeply, feel loudly, and ask questions that tend to linger. Lioness Ink Insight is a living, evolving conversation that shifts as I do. Some days that means diving into creativity or writing. Other days it means chatting about identity, survival, joy, burnout, or whatever the hell my brain is fixated on at 2 in the morning. What matters here is not the category, it's whether the conversation is honest, because this podcast is for depth without performance, while allowing its pride of listeners an escape where you can be vulnerable, unapologetically curious, and safe in every way. I'm not interested in polished answers. I want and intend to give real ones with terrifying authenticity. If something sparks recognition, relief, or even a quiet laugh because you've been there too, it belongs here. That includes the strange spaces in between or anything that sparks a roar in your soul, especially then. So now, what the hell am I doing here? Well, I think it's fair to ask why I'm the one having these conversations. So I do want to take a few minutes to be clear on what I am and what I am not. First of all, everything posted here and all content is my own views and opinions. But I'm not a mental health professional, and I'm not interested in positioning myself as an expert with answers or someone here to hand out solutions. What I am is someone who has spent years thinking deeply about identity, creativity, survival, and the stories we tell ourselves to get through the hard parts. I'm a single mom who's battled the same things most of you have and maybe still do every day: depression, anxiety, trauma, and the painful, dark hand of life we don't talk enough about. Writing has always been my way of surviving, understanding, and rebuilding myself over time while making sense of the world we live in. It's how I hold complicated truths without rushing them into something neat or digestible, how I process, reflect deeply, and slow things down enough to understand what's actually happening beneath the surface. Now, Lioness Ink Insight is an extension of that practice in a way to me that feels healthy, creative, and true to who I am now, because that no longer fits quietly on a page. I'm loud, proud, and ready for people to hear me roar. I'm going to ask thoughtful, complex questions, sit with discomfort, speak honestly from lived experience, and explore what it means to be human without pretending there's some clean takeaway. Not to instruct, but reflect. So if you're looking for perfection or authority, this probably isn't the space for you. But if that kind of conversation resonates with you and you're looking for someone willing to be real, you're exactly where you should be. Now, I did promise you a teaser, like I said. So with that said, and because I am every bit extra and always go big, in true Angie fashion, the first mini-series that will be aired here sometime next month is called The Agent Unveiled, where I interview literary agents about who they are outside the role, the work people don't see, and the stuff that's hard to talk about publicly. The reason I want to do this mini-series is because there's this abstract veil over the job title that gets lots of misrepresentation or assumptions of who the agent is or what they believe in. Agents are often talked about, but rarely talked to as a person outside of being an agent. So this is a project focused on lifting that veil to humanize people who rarely get to speak freely and are usually referred to in those abstract terms than as the full humans they are with boundaries, context, and interior lives. Now, if you are an agent listening and you're interested in participating in that project, it would require an hour of your time. My DMs are open, and I'd be thrilled to add more voices and perspectives. And of course, nothing would get published without your approval first. That's huge to me, and that goes for any guest on my podcast. I'm really excited about this series, though, because giving people back their voice means a lot to me, and it's something I'm incredibly passionate about as someone who spent a lifetime being and watching others be silenced. The first episode of the mini-series so far is tentatively scheduled to air January 21st, but that is subject to change depending on agent availability. This is just one of many series to come and one thread in a much larger tapestry. There's going to be other topics we're going to discuss. I have some indie musicians that are going to be making an appearance. I have a local artist in the Ohio area who is also going to be on the show to discuss art and things like that. And then I even have some little more spicier conversations happening about misconceptions in the kink community. So a little bit of everything. But what to expect going forward. In the meantime, you can expect depth, humor, vulnerability, and a little lioness energy when needed. New episodes are going to drop regularly and come in many different shapes. They could be structured, chaotic, solo, or interview-based with guests. But no matter what, every conversation will always be genuine, filled with heart, and so very me. I do intend to unpack big feelings, explore storytelling, dig into real life, and ask the questions about moments that feel small but carry weight. Now, as a trigger warning for anyone who might need it, there will be times I'll touch on mental health aspects, but I'll always preface the article or episode with that in that case. Otherwise, I could be discussing relationships, art, music, personal evolution, and a thought that won't leave me alone and anything else my brain decides to spiral into. And like I said, spicy conversations, including discussing the kink community, yeah, those belong here too. But one thing I can guarantee you is every conversation will always be intentional and rooted in who I actually am. If you like thoughtful chaos, humor with a pulse, maybe even a dash of dark humor, a sprinkle of spice, and a space where you can breathe and just exist, Lioness Ink Insight is for you. Now, before I close out this pilot episode, I do want to address one of my biggest aspects of my channel, which is giving my listeners a voice. It doesn't matter what your job or interests are, I want to hear from you. So drop a comment or hit my DMs with conversation topics you want to hear or even be a part of. That's right. You can join in on conversations with me. You don't have to have some fancy job title or anything like that. Your voice is valuable, so consider this your creative den where we work together to bring humanity into conversations and talk about what it means to build something honest in a tough world. And hit that subscribe button right now so you don't miss the first episode of the Agent Unveiled, along with the many other conversations and episodes that are going to be coming up. I can't wait to have them with you. You can also subscribe for free, but if you do decide to pay for a subscription, that does come with exclusive content. Annual subscribers, though, do get a free basic graphic design from yours truly. Founding members get free merch, a free deluxe graphic design, and to be featured in an article all about you. highlighting everything about you, your brand, your business. You get to choose. The article is optional though. That's all for today. It's been really meaningful to me to create a space I can share with others. I can't wait to watch it grow. Thank you again for stepping into the den with me. And just a little note, whether you've already clawed your way out of the darkness in your life or are still trapped inside, I'm here. Through Lioness Ink Insight, I'll sit with you and paint a star of light in it to keep you company. You're not alone anymore. You're a member of my pride now, and I'll be the loud, fierce centennial holding a quiet space of healing for you, an escape from the darkness as you find your way to the light. Until next time, stay real, stay weird, stay fierce, and welcome to the Pride Lands of Lioness Ink Insight.